Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about allied races from the announcements made during BlizzCon 2017. Remember that if you liked the video and you want to keep up with my BlizzCon coverage, be sure to leave a like on the video and get subscribed for future videos. Anyway, that being said, let's jump into it. First up, what are allied races? Allied races are new races coming to World of Warcraft in the Battle for Azeroth expansion, complementing the environments and characters we'll be experiencing. For instance, bringing the Lightforged Draenei, which we saw in Argus, and the High Mountain Tauren we saw in High Mountain. The races, at least currently, seem to be sub-races of other races that already currently exist in-game, but were specifically called allied races. What does that mean? Well, it could suggest that the current ones are sub-races, but they wanted to leave the races up to be other kinds of races in the future without creating whole new starter zones for them. More on this later. Another question you might have, especially with the idea of them being offshoots of existing races or sub-races, is, are they just the same race except with different models? The answer to this is no. The races actually will each have their own unique racials apart from the standard races, and they also have different class constraints than the regular version of the races. More on that later as well. With the way they described the races, they suggested that this could be added to in the future more easily than regular races that have been added in the past. What this means is that we could be receiving new races more often in the game, albeit as allied races. Moving on, how do we get them? Your first assumption might be that we don't unlock them in any fashion, rather we just buy the expansion and hurrah, let's race change or create new level 1 Void Elves. This is incorrect. Unlike other races, you can't create characters with these races or change to them without having unlocked them first. The idea of these races, as well as the reason they're called allied races in the first place, is that we need to look for new allies to help us in our fights with our opposing factions. There's a slight catch that may make you want to level a character rather than race change. First off, they start off at level 20 rather than 1, which means you'll get a bit of a head start over creating a character with one of the older races. On top of this, if you level a character to 110 with these races rather than race-changing existing characters, you will unlock race-specific transmog armor called Heritage Armor. While these may look like different armor classes, they are classified as cosmetic, so any class will be able to transmog to it if you want. Other characters with the races you've unlocked Heritage Armor for will be able to transmogrify to it, but it is race-specific, so you can't use it on another raced character. Some other things to note, currently the allied races do not have unique dances and emotes, but whether that will change in the future has not been said. Similarly, whether or not they will have unique mounts is not yet determined, though currently it's looking like the mounts will stay the same as existing mounts. The allied races announced are the Lightforged Draenei, the Void Elves, and the Dark Iron Dwarves for the Alliance. As for the Horde, we have the High Mountain Tauren, the Nightborn, and the Zandalari Trolls. The racials are currently only known for two of the races, Lightforged Draenei and High Mountain Tauren. But the class constraints are known for all the races except Dark Iron Dwarves and Zandalari Trolls. For the Alliance's Lightforged Draenei, the race will have more options of horns to choose from, as well as light touch tattoos that can be changed. The glowing rune on their heads are also customizable. The classes they can choose are Warrior, Hunter, Mage, Paladin, and Priest. They have 2 racial abilities as well as 3 racial passives. For their abilities, they have Light's Judgment and Forge of Light. Light's Judgment calls down a strike of holy energy, dealing holy damage to enemies within 5 yards after 3 seconds. This ability has a 40-yard range, a 2.5 minute cooldown, and does not have a cast time. Forge of Light summons a Forge of Light, enabling blacksmithing. Your blacksmithing skill is also increased by 10. For their passives, they have Demon Bane, Final Verdict, and Holy Resistance. Demon Bane increases experience gained from killing beasts, oddly enough, by 20%. Final Verdict causes you to go out in an explosion of light. When you die, the light avenges you, dealing holy damage to enemies within 8 yards and healing allies. Holy Resistance is what it sounds like. It reduces holy damage taken by 1%. The Alliance also has Void Elves, which are limited in classes to Warrior, Hunter, Mage, Monk, Priest, Rogue, and Warlock. It's very disappointing that we can't be Void Elf Demon Hunters, though not surprising. Their racials are not known yet. Class constraints and racials are not yet available for Dark Iron Dwarves, but it was mentioned that they will have lots of beard options, including beards which are Emberflecked from working by the Forge. For the Horde's High Mountain Tauren, the race will have the ability to customize tribal paintings, fur, faces, moose horns, and tribal markings on said moose horns. And for those of you wondering, yes, the druid forms will have moose horns rather than regular horns. This sounds hilarious to me personally. The Tauren of High Mountain can pick from the classes of Warrior, Druid, Monk, Hunter, and Shaman. They have 1 ability and 4 passives. For their ability, they have Bull Rush. With this, you charge forward for 1 second, knocking enemies down for 1.5 seconds. This ability has a 2-minute cooldown. For their passives, they have Pride of Ironhorn, Mountaineer, Rugged Tenacity, and Waste Not, Want Not. Pride of Ironhorn increases your mining skill by 15 and allows you to mine faster. Mountaineer increases versatility by 1%. Rugged Tenacity reduces damage taken. Waste Not, Want Not, and gives you a chance to loot additional meat and fish. The Horde also has Nightborn, which are limited to actually the same classes as the Void Elves. Warrior, Hunter, Mage, Monk, Priest, Rogue, and Warlock. Also not able to be Demon Hunter. Class constraints and racials are not yet available for Zandalari Trolls. Also with the Horde, though not an allied race feature, they are going to be allowing the Trolls and Orcs to finally stand up straight, similar to how Thrall stands up. A much welcome change. Another thing worth mentioning is that with the addition of these races, they are adding 6 character slots to your account for each realm. There's no word yet on if the account-wide 50 character limit is being increased or not, but the per realm limit is being increased. These 6 races will be available at launch, but more races are planned for the future. What else could we expect from this allied race system? Well, for one, we could potentially expect more sub-race options in the future. We've seen other Tauren throughout Warcraft, such as the Yaungol of Pandaria and the Taunka of Northrend, which would both make nice additions to the system. We've also seen Gilblins, the aquatic goblins, as well as beefier trolls like the forest and ice trolls, Broken Draenei. The Mok'Nathal could be a subrace for orcs. We could also see Leper Gnomes if you're into that sort of thing. Really though, the sky is the limit here, and I'm not even sure the sky is a limitation at this point. Some other races I'd like to see as allied races, actually from Battle for Azeroth, are the Kul'Tiran monster hunter humans, the Vulpera, and depending on the lore with it, potentially with the Sethrak. With the Kul'Tirans, I just think it'd be really cool to have these beefier, stockier humans to play with, especially with the tank characters. Another possibility with this is for them to add this as a barber option, like how they're going to be allowing orcs and trolls to stand up straight rather than be hunched over. I do think that if we were to get a Naga-based race, it would have to be something more along the lines of what we see with the Sethrak. I know a lot of people have been wanting Naga as a playable race. I want this too, but honestly this likely won't happen. The limitations for their feat options are very present, and the gender-based classing for their race would be very difficult to work with. Several of their classes are specifically bound to the Naga's gender by lore. I doubt Blizzard would want to break this lore just for characters, and I doubt they'd want to create the touchy topic which would be created by limiting the classes to their genders. Another race I've seen a surprising number of World of Warcraft YouTubers want is the Tuskarr. I'm personally indifferent to this, but I have noticed it's very much wanted by some people. Anyway, that's all the information we have available currently for allied races. Be sure to leave a like and to get subscribed, as I'll be making more videos covering BlizzCon's World of Warcraft details, particularly with Battle for Azeroth. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I do hope you found it useful. Be sure to leave a comment if you have any thoughts you'd like to share about the new expansion and updates. I'm always excited to hear what you might have to share. That being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.